Members of the Fourth Estate, I'm really excited and I'm grateful that we all took our time this morning to be able to, come here as we celebrate this momentous occasion. My name is Lotan. I'm a radio presenter with Homeboys Radio. I'm also excited to be here today because this is a day for young people. This is an opportunity for us as young people to hear and understand a little bit more about what is happening in this particular sector. Now, members of the Fourth Estate, I know some of us might want to get an interview. So just give us a couple of minutes so that are here in this particular auditorium and talk to everybody that is back home. So good morning to you wherever you're watching us from. I'd like to especially welcome you to the first ever ASSEK Annual Conference 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, tupige makofi tafadhali. So ladies and gentlemen, we are streaming on multiple platforms, Zoom, YouTube, and obviously the ASSEK website. And the hashtag for the day is ASSEK 2020 more, or hashtag more for ESOs. And you can also find us on our Twitter handle, which is ASSEK News. Now, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you stumbled upon this particular link on either platforms, ASSEK simply stands for Association of Startups and SME Enablers of Kenya, where in a nutshell, like Bernard told us, we represent the interests of organizations supporting development and growth of startups and SMEs in Kenya. Now, ladies and gentlemen, to give us his key address, I'd like to welcome, or rather he's already on stage, the chairperson of ASSEK. He's also a director of the Global Disability Innovate Hub, that's the GDI. His lifelong goal is to build the best support system for entrepreneurs and startups. And finally, his passion is in innovation, mentorship, and supporting entrepreneurs. Ladies and gentlemen, please, let's put our hands together. You that is here on location, and you definitely that's watching me online, for the one and only Bernard Shearer.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone streaming online, welcome to the inaugural annual ASSEK conference. Yes, I am the chair of ASSEK, but I am the director of Innovate Now, which is an initiative of the Global Disability Innovation Hub. And we focus on innovation for persons with disability and specifically assistive technologies. Today is a special day for the ASSEK community. Innovation for the first time was being driven by a community of enthusiasts in technology. You might know the iHub or iLab Africa. These are the early innovation hubs in this country that were looking at technology from a very different angle. And the idea was, how can we have more impact in solving the challenges that our dear continent faces? We have challenges across maternal health, name it. We are the continent that understands challenges. But these challenges are not unsurmountable. And these challenges are actually being solved by us, not foreigners, not friends from outside. If you look at Kenya today and our economy and the impact that we've had, despite the many challenges we've had as a country, we always rise, and the youth and young people have always been central to this rising up. Now, what is an innovation hub? Sometimes from this technology sector, there's a lot of jargon. What is incubation? What are we accelerating? In simple terms, I like using this example because it makes it very relatable. Now, if you're trying to rear chicken, you must be familiar with the concept of an incubator. It's very simple. It's an environment that presents the right conditions for that chick to become a chicken. So we look at temperature, we look at humidity, we look at light, and so forth. Now, in this country, there's been a lot of people that have been supporting young entrepreneurs, young innovations, and Sometimes you may think that this concept is very foreign, but I'll give you a very real example. Around the same time, 10 years ago, there was something very popular in Kenya. It was cyber cafes. There are still a few cybers, but cyber cafes is where you went if you wanted anything technology. You wanted to print a document, you wanted to send that important email, you went to a cyber cafe. And cyber cafes started realizing that a lot of the users did not have the skills to do some of the things they wanted to do online. And they started supporting that. Some people actually, even in those days, wanted to start consultancy businesses, online businesses, and they were getting support. Now, the era of cyber cafes, of course, has faded away with the advancement of technology. And we've also come far as a country in terms of my TV channels. He's very interested when he switches off the TV from the socket because he sees it's going off up there. So the exposure, and this has been pivotal in other countries where kids get exposure to technology. It's already happening. Our generation is nurturing the next generation of entrepreneurs. So innovation hubs came to provide more value. They didn't just want to become a cyber cafe. They wanted to really provide an environment where you could access resources and you could access networks, people you do not meet ordinarily. And if you fast track that to more than 10 years later, on this continent, there has been an exponential growth of innovation hubs. I'm a member of AfriLabs, and many of our hubs are, and we are more than 600 counting. And the gap and the opportunity here is learning and access to information is no longer a monopoly. If you go on the internet, you will find what you're looking for in terms of knowledge. But how about creating value? ESOs are centers of creating value for young people, value for startups. And we are in the business of creating businesses. We are in the business of solving our continent's most challenging issues and creating jobs. And so today, our theme is unlocking value for ESOs and looking at how can these entrepreneur support organizations continue being pivotal in providing success for young ventures and building our economy, creating jobs, and empowering our young people. So I welcome you to the inaugural annual conference for ASSEK, where you can expect to learn about digital collaborations, public-private partnerships, and how policy is shaping up in response to innovation in this country. Thank you very much.
Your environment, it's like an incubator, like you said. So I'm really grateful for that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want us to go straight into our first panel session. Now, with this, I'd like to welcome somebody that's really special to all of us here. She is the head of programs at ASSEK. She's an SME champion. She believes in building ecosystems and communities that create synergies needed to drive innovations. And this week, ladies and gentlemen, I discovered that she is indeed very cool. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, let's welcome to the stage Ms. Brenda Kibiko. Tafadhali.
I don't think I can. Oh, there we go. So thank you for the very interesting introduction. Fantastic. Like Lotan mentioned, my name is Brenda. I am the head of programs at ASSEK. I am delighted to have all of you listening on this discussion. It's going to be very, oh wow, keep changing. It's going to be a very short discussion, but it's background on the chair's address on partnerships. This year, we realized that we cannot function and we cannot work in isolation, that we need to leverage on each other's strengths. We need to work as a community. We needed to look introspectively on how do we find solutions within the ecosystem and what partnerships can we form to ensure that those solutions are scaled and are adopted by our entrepreneurs and our other stakeholders. So I'm going to invite the other panelists. They are joining in virtually. This is Sheena. Let me make sure I get her name right. Sheena Raikundalia. She is a director of UK Kenya Tech Hub. I can't see her on my monitor, so I don't know if we will be able to converse. May the tech team confirm that she can hear us, she can see us loud and clear. Sheena, if you're there, maybe say hello.
Yes, hi, I'm waving, I can see you.
Oh, fantastic. You're waving back. Hopefully you can see us. Great.
I can see you and I can hear you.
So we have Sheena Raikundalia. She is the director of UK Kenya Tech Hub. And we have Dario Giuliani, who is the director of Brighter Bridges. Let me just give a quick background on why we're having this discussion. Leaking and information sharing and how we can use this data to really push for the next level of entrepreneurship and retell the story of the entrepreneurship innovation space in Kenya. So Dario, just checking that you can hear us and you can see us.
I can hear you. I think you cut for a bit, but hi everyone. It's good to see you all.
Dario, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Seems we are just having a quick, a small hitch, but I'll direct just one question to the chair. He's very familiar with this partnership. So maybe you could speak on the need for this, why we really needed to align all the stakeholders and centralize the information on the ecosystem.
Thanks, Brenda, and I hope it's an opportunity to join and introduce themselves. But I will speak about, from an ASSEK perspective, what this means. So, Brighter is an organization that has been for a number of years trying to publish reports around indicators for the innovation ecosystem, not just in Kenya, but on the continent. And I first met Dario when he was at the GSMA, and I can tell you that he understands some of the challenges we have. And I'll speak about one of the main challenges we have, and that is visibility for the ecosystem. Now I'll explain what I mean about this. So when you talk about the activities happening, the number of organizations supporting entrepreneurs with services or incubation and acceleration services, when you talk about the investments happening, this a lot of the times are not captured or represented well out there. There are many people, if you go and ask them, would you rather start a company in Kenya or Nigeria? This is not a trick question, but there are many that will tell you, oh, I love Nigeria because of this and that. Oh, I love Kenya because of this and that. So the opportunity that we have to do with Brighter is to give maximum exposure to all enablers that are doing work around supporting the innovation.
And I know a couple of months ago, we had the conversation with the amazing Nekesa Were, who will be moderating the next session. And we're talking about sustainability of hubs and the different models of sustainability. And one thing she touched on was data and information, and not having this information fragmented. And I think what this partnership between UK Kenya Tech Hub, Brighter Bridges, and ASSEK will look to do will be to centralize that information. And how do we use that information as an ecosystem to benefit us and to benefit a lot of the stakeholders? So who is putting money where, who is doing what, which gaps are there, and then directing the right resources and the right tools to those needs. I don't know, Bernard, if you just allow me to go back to you in terms of what would you say to the people who have not already be on the platform? And let me mention that the map that was released about a week ago, it does not capture everybody in the ecosystem. So please make sure that your organization registered. We're going to crowdsource this information. So we need everybody to be part of this and put your information that really have a strong database of who everybody is. But coming back to you, Bernard, what would you tell the membership and the community? Because this is not just for the ASSEK members, it's for the ASSEK community.
Thanks, Brenda. And I'm really hoping tech is being fixed here, because I feel like Sheena and Dario really need to be talking about this as well. But I'll speak about this and touch on this question of data. There's a lot of the time there's skepticism about sharing data and about how that data is being used and about who's benefiting, who's creating value out of that data. And there's been a lot of fear for anyone who asks you to give data. And one thing I want to clarify about our partnership with Brighter is that it's not proprietary data that is being crowdsourced. Anything that is you put on your website, that's what we want. We want to know you are an innovation hub and you support entrepreneurs in whichever sector. And for startups and SMEs, the whole idea is, how do we also create visibility for people who are looking for investment? Because to be honest, it's one of those issues that we haven't nailed as an ecosystem, how to attract capital. And a lot of the time what lacks is validation. Because if you're a startup and you just, nobody knows you and you say you're raising investment, then there's due diligence. Everyone wants to know, where are you from? What have you been doing? And this is the type of support we want to facilitate. And to actually say that as entrepreneurs ourselves and as organizations that support startups and SMEs, this is step one. The real question is, because we hold so much data that we are not putting out there and positioning it for partnerships, for collaborations. What are we doing? One of the biggest challenges I've seen is this idea of telling success stories from our innovation hubs. Where is that? If I want to know about the beautiful stories of Mledger, Link, Pesesha, where is that story? Who supported them? So I feel like this is step one, but we have ourselves to look at the data we have and say, how do we generate informative, regular reports that can support our work? And how do we help and leverage on what we have to create opportunities for the entrepreneurs? And we can do that by ourselves. Thank you.
Really good insights. That's why he's the chair. He says the wisest things. So we're here to learn. Teach us, Sensei. Teach us. So you've had what this will do for the ecosystem. We're very, very happy for this partnership. I see our tech guys working to fix everything. I hope we have Sheena and Dario on the screen and on the mic. Sheena, are you able to hear us? Say
yes.
hello.
So, hi. So I just wanted to say that I think the issue is on your end, because I could hear Dario, I could hear all of you talking, and I think he can hear me too, and he also has a slide. So can you hear me? Just do a thumbs up if you can hear me. Awesome. Okay. Excellent. So and I've got my video on, and I think Dario also said he can hear me and he can hear you guys. So we can start. And I think he has a presentation that he quickly wants to share, which might give some overview. But I thought, if you can hear me, can I maybe just say a few words while I'm here?
Yes. Now we can hear you loud and clear.
Awesome. Okay, so first of all, I can't tell you how excited I am to be here. You both probably know, and Bernard especially, what a big champion I am of ASSEK countrywide, and it's just so good to see you guys having done what you've done. I think, having a strong ecosystem with supporters that can support entrepreneurs, so hubs like yourselves, can have a multiplier effect. And as much as I'm a big champion of ASSEK and countrywide and the hubs, I mean, the reason why I'm a champion of it is because I think entrepreneurs in this country are awesome and are going to do amazing things and have done amazing things, but need that supportive ecosystem, which I think, again, ASSEK plays a huge part in. So coming very quickly then to this partnership. Now, this is another example of such a great partnership. Like ASSEK, you guys are an enabler of all the hubs across Kenya. So first of all, it's not just Nairobi centric, but we're looking at a wide range of members who are supporting entrepreneurs across Kenya, and having that diverse set of voices and opinions, which is so important. I mean, UK Kenya Tech Hub, for those of us who don't know, I'm Sheena, and I'm the country director of the UK Kenya Tech Hub, and we're part of an international network of tech hubs. So although I lead Kenya, we have Nigeria, we have South Africa and Africa, but we have India, we have Indonesia, we have Israel, we have Brazil. So again, lots of cross learnings that I'm happy to sort of bring as we carry on this kind of conversation. So we're a government body. We work with DCMS, which is a digital culture, media, sports department in the UK, but working here in the British High Commission, and our High Commissioner and Deputy High Commissioner are also big supporters of the ecosystem, and try and participate as much as they can. We're part of a wider digital access program, and again, we're all about how do we help people get online, how do we keep them safe, and how do we build this tech ecosystem. And for me, this tech ecosystem is broad. It's not just startups, as you mentioned, Bernard, in your great speech on how to differentiate them, but also SMEs and MSMEs who potentially need digitization or the very boring, we call operational tech, to grow and scale. So I think it's a very interesting ecosystem, with kind of lots of sort of potential for tech as an enabler, but also just supporting MSMEs and SMEs, which is why I like ASSEK for doing both. That brings me to the third part of the partnership, which is Bridger Bridges. And I know Dario can obviously say more about him, but I like the idea of kind of data showcasing storytelling, exactly as Bernard put. But more importantly than that, one of the things that investors keep coming to me to say is we keep getting inundated by entrepreneurs asking for investment, but they're not even suited for VC investments. And I think that's the point to note. A revenue generating stage, you might need a sort of angel investor, or you might be looking at a further. It depends on your needs. So one of the other things I think would be really, really good is, again, a project that we're working together with you and Dario for Bridger Bridges, is creating this diagnostic where we can actually help entrepreneurs understand where are they and what do they need. And based on that, we can direct them to a whole lot of resources that are available, whether that's ASSEK members, whether it's government programs, whether it's investors, angel investors, etc. But we can't do that until we know what it is that entrepreneurs themselves need. And number two, Bernard, as you rightly put, what is it that our diverse ecosystem providers, what do they provide? What is the difference between what sort of, Bernard, your program provides versus NILAB versus Sote Hub, right? Like what kind of entrepreneurs? It all seems the same to a young entrepreneur who's starting out. They won't know what they need and what the people provide, which is another reason why I like this partnership with Dario. And this is why I think partnerships work with different people, bringing in different things. So I'll stop now. I hope I've given a bit of an intro and some context, and over to Dario. And thank you all again for inviting me to this event. And I'm very sorry I couldn't be there in person, but this is great.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Sheena. Sheena is a champion of the innovation space. She's really amazing, very, very supportive. And we're so delighted to be working with you, Sheena. I'd like to invite Dario to speak from the technical point of view. What exactly is this partnership? What is this tool? What is this platform? So just from a very technical bit, but also simplified version, and very briefly, let us know what this means, and what it will do is really work for the ecosystem.
Thanks also, Bernard, for picking this up when there was the glitch, this technical glitch. I'm very excited, and for those of you who know us, Kenya is actually the first African countries where we open an official branch, and our team is growing to 3 people already in a matter of less than a year. So why am I here? Brighter in the last couple of years has been, working on and data aggregation, data curation, and ultimately this visual storytelling, very much based on the analysis of the context and the analysis of the state of play when it comes to specifically technology, business, finance. And this partnership is very much based on leveraging some of the expertises and the realms, right, of interest of our three organizations, the UK Kenya Tech Hub and ASSEK. So I put together a few slides for everyone to see. Just to start with, we launched this partnership by announcing this, by publishing this map, which wanted to be some sort of teaser of what, bringing together different pieces of the same puzzle could actually lead to. And, as Bernard mentioned, and Sheena actually, there are several players. This map can obviously capture all of them. But there are several players that are entering the space every day, and both from a Kenyan perspective, from a national perspective, and from an international perspective, meaning organizations that might be interested in doing business, in expanding, or in investing in the country. So the value of bringing together different pieces of the puzzle is actually to try to maximize this potential and to bring out, out there to the world from a global perspective, the actual opportunities that lie in there. And as Bernard, I'm glad that Bernard mentioned kind of the value and the meaning of Brighter, right? Brighter is founded upon the idea that more data and more information and sort of better and better organized information can actually open up a whole realm of opportunities by way of actually showcasing what is actually going on in a specific context, right? In this case being Kenya, right? So what is, the role of these three organizations? Brighter will actually be bringing these few years of experience in analyzing information, in mingling with ecosystems across Africa, and effectively using the Brighter Intelligence, which is our new tool, to allow people to really find it easy to find synergies, to find competitors, to analyze their markets, to find potential support. The UK Kenya Tech Hub will actually be bringing, the entire body of resources of support, right? Based on also the work that the UK government has actually been doing across Africa with other tech hubs and across other markets. And then ASSEK, goes without saying, you have a deep knowledge. You are the guardians of the ecosystem. And so by way of leveraging these three resources, by way of having, an eye on the global, our global arena with us, with the UK Kenya Tech Hub, and then a very strong sort of foothold on the ground, with all our teams, we would be able to at least project a much more comprehensive landscape and produce and bring forward a much more comprehensive narrative about what effectively is happening. Now, I just go very quickly through the platform. So part of this is not the entire, the juice of the partnership, but the partnership will be leveraging this platform to enable people to actually access different bits of this ecosystem and different pieces of this puzzle. So all of this that I'm showing is available online. We have guidelines online that we've built and that we're actually improving, so that people accessing the platform will have an idea of how to navigate it. So effectively, this platform allows matchmaking, allows visual understanding of what will, what is going on in the country. I've actually also zoomed into Kenya in the next slide so you can understand. But you have this sidebar that adjusts to every single query that you might have. So, for instance, looking into fintech, looking into agriculture, looking into hubs by way of looking, for instance, at a specific category. So we have companies, we have investors, we have hubs, right? And something that Bernard actually highlighted, which I keep stressing, is the fact that, for instance, hubs have not been necessarily, the Y Combinator type of hub providing, equity capital and access to Silicon Valley, but hubs for the people who've been building hubs and who've been, hanging around in hubs. You can understand the holistic value of, from a cultural perspective, from an enabling perspective, that this organization have been bringing in the game. Aggregators have been able to bring together the youth in a safe space, in a technologically enabled place, right? And so this, by way of segmenting the different categories and sub-segmenting the different categories by type. So for instance, them being an innovation hub generically, them being an accelerator, them being an incubator, we've been able to really kind of break down the different pieces of this specific support ecosystem, right? Very briefly, is a bit of a different overview of what we just saw with the map in the previous slide, but this kind of gives you a more visual idea of numbers and percentages when it comes to, first, the number of startups, number of products that are in a specific ecosystem, or because Brighter has been working with a lot of government and impact investors. Obviously, there's a whole section about sustainable development goals and impact metrics, which people will be actually able to add to their profile in one of the different tabs. So very quickly, if for everyone who wants to use the platform, you can first search the name of your company in the search field. If you're not able to find your company in the search field, you're more than welcome. In fact, you are invited to add your own company or your own organization, your NGO, your investor, to the platform by clicking on the purple button on the right, and that will open a whole interface that will allow you to add all the information that you need. And as you can see, for instance, here, if we filter by Kenya, you can see that the whole map adjusts to just Kenya, providing some indicators about the data that we already have, right? So here we can see, we have companies spanning across 65 sectors and 191 products, and you have almost 1,000 companies and investor already counted in the platform. And this is just the beginning of this partnership. So we're looking to double this number perhaps, and will be, as Bernard mentioned, Brighter and ASSEK will actually be producing biannual insights. So let's say one will come out in spring, and one will be out at the end of next year. And we're trying to create continuity in the production of content that would go out there. And so having some sort of brochure for Kenya's technology ecosystem for everyone across the world who might be interested in having access to this. Now, to the core of this partnership, we've actually been, this is I think only Brenda saw this so far, and she's the only one having the spoiler, but basically we've been building ad hoc tabs within these are the tabs that you will find in a company's profile, but we'll be looking into a new tab that will capture the milestones. So whether a company owns an IP, whether a company is already generating revenues, where the company is in the product development, whether the product is still an idea, whether the product is already selling, right? But then, as you can see here, you might have milestones such as release the product, raising funding, right, or all the plethora of milestone that a company could go through. And this is very flexible, so we can actually adjust depending on kind of the demand that we see from the ecosystem, right? And then moving on down into this tab, you can actually assess whether a company is fundraising. If a company is fundraising, what type of capital is the company looking at? This, you're looking at grant, you're looking at equity, you're looking at debt, and how much are you looking for, right? And if you've participated into any program, which program have you participated in? And you can, if you go on the switch, this will open up a new slot where you can add the names of the organization that you've been part of. And when you're looking for acceleration or support, you have a list of types of support aside from cash that you might be looking into. Okay, so these are just some of the additional data point, that we specifically added to allow especially early stage companies to specify their Bernard mentions something very, very crucial, that in the first year, in the first 18 months, 24 months of a company, it's like having a new baby. It's everything is new, every day is learning, so there's nothing set in stone, right? And so a company, people think of a CEO, think of director, and taking for granted that this person, has got every, all the pieces of the puzzle together, but it's very hardly ever so. So we're trying to create an infrastructure that would enable people to really break down all the different pieces or the different needs, right, that this person might have, or this company might have, and also match all of these with the thousands of companies that we have on the platform, right? So you'll be able to understand which investors are focused on Kenya, which investors are focused on, or hubs, right, are focused on financial technology, or focus on healthcare, or focus on food and beverage, right? We've built a pretty extensive, pretty extensive number of sector breakdown to encompass for everything. To finish this, then I think there's open, I guess, time for questions. We are now, for People Brighter is actually hiring a new person in Kenya to support our research team. And I don't know, Brenda, if there's time for question, but or if you have any question. But this is pretty much, I guess, the core of what we'll be doing in the ecosystem.
Let's take some time to go through it and fill in all the information and the data that is required, and we will use it. So we're looking at this as a shared prosperity, shared value kind of thing, where we require all of us to come together to input the information, input the data, to share the information so that it benefits all of us. I know we are stretched on time. We will take your questions after. So just direct it on the chat, direct it to any of the panelists, and then we'll capture that and answer at a later time. I don't know if Bernard has some quick closing words. Just quick ones, Bernard. Just quick ones.
Thank you very much.
That's as quick as it gets. Thank you very much.